All right, everybody. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming here this week to spend this time in San Francisco with us. And of course, everybody watching us online. Are you having a good time here? All right. Let's go. So my name is Marcelo Dichtchekenian, and I am the GCPS Partner Strategy Lead for Microsoft 365. And today I'm super happy to be here with my friends Ryan and Dallas to talk to you about secure AI productivity and how to grow your business with Microsoft 365. And we're going to start by talking a little bit about the momentum that we're seeing in the market right now and the opportunity ahead of us. Then we're going to transition to a deep dive in our key GTM investments and levers to help you go after that opportunity. Microsoft 365 Accelerate, incentives, promotions, and all the details that you need to know to make the best out of them. Then with that in mind, we are going to have a fireside chat with SoftwareOne in which we will have the opportunity to learn some of the best practices that they've been driving in the market. And then we're going to close the session with some summaries and calls to action. So let's get going with our momentum around M365. And I think that the best way to start is just by thanking you so very much for everything that you do. Your impact is really reflected in every facet of our business, so I want to take a moment to celebrate all the impact that we're seeing this fiscal year. So first, more than 60% of new revenue in the space is directly influenced by partner, which shows how important you are in making sure customers are adopting secure and AI-powered solutions. And then second, in Q1 alone, partners influenced more than 2,000 customers to adopt secure AI productivity, showing the scale and the reach of our ecosystem. And the impact isn't just about the numbers. It's about helping customers work smarter and safer. And as we move forward, your contributions and your expertise will be critical as we shape the future of AI-driven business transformation. So again, thank you so very much for everything that you do, and I look forward to continuing that impact with you through FY26 and beyond. And the great news is that there's still plenty of opportunity for us to keep this momentum going. First, we see that AI is driving growth and is solving real business challenges, but security remains absolutely imperative. In fact, 70% of people surveyed said that they would delegate as much work as possible to AI so that they can reduce their workloads, which shows a strong appetite for adoption. At the same time, more than 90% of CIOs and CTOs are saying that Gen AI is driving increased investment in cybersecurity at their organizations, which means as AI adoption accelerates, so does the need for strong security solutions, which means that we still have a strong opportunity ahead of us, considering the white space that we are seeing in the market. Less than 20% of Microsoft's unmanaged customers are currently on premium solutions such as Business Premium, ME3, or ME5. And then on top of that, we have more than 13 million customers who are ready to migrate to the cloud. So the takeaway is really clear. We have a lot of opportunity with that demand and that white space. And we have just the right solution to help you go after that opportunity, as Ryan is going to show you now.
All right, thanks, Marcelo. Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Argall. I'm the Partner Practice Lead for Secure Productivity. Thank you all so much for being here. Within the Secure AI Productivity solution play, we are really focused on delivering 3 core benefits to our customers through Microsoft 365 E3, F3, and Business Premium. So the first is secure AI-powered productivity. So this is the core value that you are all familiar with. We were thrilled to announce this week that agent mode is coming to the M365 apps. So with Copilot Chat grounded in web data, agent mode will allow Copilot Chat to reason over open Word documents, Excel documents, and PowerPoints and create right in the document. So super excited to have that announced this week. The second core value is AI-ready business protection. So this continues to be top of mind with so many of our customers, even more so as AI proliferates throughout customer organizations. And then finally, IT-optimized solutions, delivering the best value and total cost of ownership for our customers. So let's take a look at how we're doing this and what value we are delivering. So business leaders see AI as essential for boosting individual productivity, but while doing so, those solutions need to be secure, they need to be efficient, and they need to enhance impact. So we begin by amplifying individual productivity with M365 apps and Copilot Chat, while enabling cross-team collaboration with Teams, OneDrive, and SharePoint. And we're also streamlining the user experience and providing secure, fast access to work materials through Entra ID and AI-powered features like QR code sign-in, mobile-first access, as well as Windows Hello. Our research, delivered in partnership with Forrester, showed end-user productivity savings of over 70 hours per year through Microsoft 365 E3 solutions. So the second core benefit is AI-ready business protection. So this is how we're helping customers build that secure foundation based on zero trust principles. And it starts with secure access powered by Entra ID, ensuring every user, be they a knowledge worker or a frontline worker, has access to the tools they need and are approved to use thanks to role-based access and conditional access controls. In the age of AI, robust information protection and compliance capabilities are also critical. So we're helping IT regain visibility and control over unsanctioned app usage, including AI tools through Cloud App Discovery. So IT can identify those unauthorized apps that exist throughout the organization and take action. And the value comes through in the data as well. Here we're seeing a 50% reduction in the likelihood of security breaches, as well as over 90% of identity compromise risk mitigated through multi-factor authentication. And then that third core benefit is IT optimized solutions. So the cost savings really unfold as customers retire their legacy tools. And we're helping organizations see a really strong return on their investment with Microsoft 365. Management becomes easier for them with services like Autopilot and Autopatch, integrated through Windows and Intune. And we're helping teams enable automated deployments, and IT teams keep their environments secure and up to date. And then we're also improving the user experience with tools like endpoint analytics, so IT can take proactive action to improve the user experience while also enabling self-service options like password reset. So here, more than 50% of retail executives said in a recent survey that their customer experience scores improved after deploying Microsoft 365 to their frontline workforce. So next, we want to review our new hero offerings for our SMB customers. We made some exciting new announcements this week that bring this complete secure AI productivity story together. And for that, I'd like to welcome Marcelo back up.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, and that's absolutely right. To make matters even more exciting and to help you capitalize even more on that opportunity, we have this big announcement to make. And okay, I know that at this point of the event you have already probably heard this, but I do want to highlight again that we are launching a new Microsoft 365 Copilot Business SKU priced at $21 per user per month. It has the same features of our $30 SKU that has been in the market for a while, and it requires a business SKU as base license, meaning business basic, standard, or premium. Together with that, we're also launching hard bundles that combine M365 Copilot Business with our business SKU, simplifying licensing and help you land the value of Secure AI Productivity and Copilot to SMB customers. They will all be available on December 1st. And I'm not done yet. There will be some promotions associated with some of these SKUs about which we're going to talk later today. And this launch will definitely help you accelerate your revenue opportunity. Right now, according to the total economic impact study by Forrester, partners can expect up to $91 per user per month in revenue associated with AI and non-AI solutions and services. That's a 13% growth year over year. And the launch of M365 Copilot Business comes to add on top of that. Just from a licensing standpoint, for example, if you take M365 Copilot Business plus Business Premium, you'll be looking at a potential profitability of $12 per user per month, coming from 15% in margins and additional incentives that can boost your profitability by an additional 15.25%. And as some of you are probably aware, there is a big wave of CSP renewals coming up in the second half of the fiscal year that will provide you with a great opportunity to optimize that revenue opportunity. I will talk more about renewals later in the session, but first, I want to pass it back to Ryan as we talk about our GTM investments associated to M365 to help you maximize that opportunity. Ryan, back to you.
All right, so let's talk about the investments we're making into you guys. So first off, we've heard you on the need for better data insights, customer targeting, customer usage and propensity, program eligibility. So all of this comes together in the new ASPX Experience and Partner Center. With ASPX, you're going to see all of your CPOR and CSP customers with the same upsell data insights used by Microsoft sellers. So let's take a look.
Our partners spoke and we listened. You're spending too much time and energy navigating scattered information instead of creating effective, data-driven customer propensity lists. Welcome to the AI Business Solutions and Security Insights Experience in Partner Center. With the AI Business Solutions and Security Insights, you'll gain a comprehensive list of your customers, including licensing and usage profiles across the Microsoft 365 suite. Detailed Copilot customer insights with AI and ML-based targeting recommendations and opportunity predictions. Eligible Copilot seat whitespace, Copilot chat and agent usage metrics. E3 and E5 upsell and expansion propensity insights with detailed usage and adoption assessments. Pre-calculated incentive eligibility by customer and workload, enabling your teams to focus on engaging high-propensity customers. Gain global visibility into customer performance metrics and engagement statuses with the new MCI Performance Measurement Report, helping you better track progress toward program eligibility requirements. Pull rich data directly into your organization's CRM with our powerful API, instantly equipping your sellers and customer success teams with up-to-date insights right within their daily workflow. Thank you for being a valued partner. Visit Partner Center today to access your unique insights and access our API for deeper integration.
All right, we are super excited about the ASPX experience. This is available in Partner Center for you all today for our corporate and enterprise customers, with SMB coming soon. All right, so with M365 Accelerate, we have increased our investment in Secure AI Productivity this year to accelerate sales cycles and deliver more value to customers through all of you, the help of our partners. So we are investing in pre, post, and at-sale incentive programs across customer segments and across different phases of the sales cycle. I'm going to walk you through our primary pre- and post-sales programs, starting with our immersion briefings for SMB customers. Then we're going to get into our one-to-one pre-sales envisioning and POC for corporate and enterprise. And then we will wrap up with how you can accelerate deals leveraging the CSP Deployment Accelerator. All right, so let's start with our immersion briefings. This is our demand generation event engine for SMB customers. So these are one-to-many, immersive 90-minute engagements that help you show the value of Microsoft 365 to prospective SMB customers through different customer scenarios. So you all will gain really valuable insights into those prospective customers as you educate them on the business transformation opportunities ahead of them with M365. So you're going to share with them different market research insights, walk them through the different benefits they may realize when adopting M365, as well as common challenges customers are overcoming by deploying M365 solutions in their environments. So this content is going to be focused on that SMB audience, and it's going to cover the value included in Business Standard, Business Premium, as well as M365 E3 for those SMB customers above 300 seats. And we have two funding options for briefings this year. First is you can leverage your co-op funds to invest in briefings, or for eligible partners, we have availability on MCI. So on MCI, eligible partners can access incentives for going to support briefing execution. Partners must be an MAI CPP enrolled partner, and you must also be a CSP direct or indirect reseller or a distributor who holds a Modern Work Solutions Partner designation. And then when it comes to customer eligibility, what we're really focused on here are identifying those high propensity SMB customers to upgrade to an M365 solution. So we're going to recommend you target SMB customers who have at least 100 seats in their environment. Their current licensing position is likely going to be something like Business Basic, Business Standard, maybe Office 365, or customers who are using on-prem or third-party solutions. And then we have a 5 customer minimum per briefing. We recently reduced that from 10, and that's validated through customer surveys as part of our POE process. All right, now let's move to our depth engagement, the one-to-one, the envisioning and POC. So this is the one that's focused on larger corporate and enterprise customers who are currently using 500 seats or more of Office 365 or M365 apps. So these are longer, more in-depth pre-sales engagements that are focused on building intent through a really wide variety of eligible pre-sales activities. So you have tons of flexibility in what it is you deliver, and we have gotten out of the business of dictating specifically what you deliver every time through a screenshot-based POE rubric. It's now all survey-based when it comes to POE. So security assessments, proofs of concept on ME3 components, business case creation, all of these and more are eligible activities that you can leverage the envisioning and POC for. So think about your standardized service offerings that you guys are using to move customers from O to M. Many of them are likely eligible for this engagement already. And we've simplified the proof of execution process here. We've broadened the range of eligible pre-sales activities. And as we've done that, we have also included this engagement in scope for our performance accountability process, where we look at influence revenue growth over the course of a year post-engagement, and partners need to maintain a 33% win rate to maintain access to the engagement. So partner eligibility, a little bit tighter on this one. Partners need to hold either the identity and access management or the modernized endpoint specialization to be eligible. And then on the customer side, we are looking at customers who have 500 seats of Office 365 or M365 apps as their primary licensing position. So those customers that have maybe 500 seats of OE3 for one specific type of user and 5,000 seats of ME5, they're not going to be eligible. 3 sizes for this one, starting at 500 seats, ranging up to our field-led large size, where you need to work with a Microsoft seller on the nomination for opportunities of $500,000 or more. All right, and then finally, we have the CSP Deployment Accelerator for ME3 and ME5. So the intent of this program is to accelerate deals while they're still in pre-sales by incorporating future expected incentive payments into deployment and adoption service proposals. So think of it kind of as the carrot at the end of the stick. If you buy this, Microsoft's going to give me this, which we can use to accelerate your deployment and adoption. So we encourage partners to claim customers while these opportunities are still in pre-sales and incorporate those expected incentive payments into your service plans that you're presenting to the customer. So partner eligibility on this one, you must be a CSP partner who holds either a modern work or security specialization to be eligible. And then customer eligibility is based on transactions. So the customers need to see 300 seats or more of incremental seat growth in our current fiscal year, which started on July 1st. So customers need to purchase 300 seats or more, depending on the claim size. And like I said, partners can claim these customers before these transactions that will make them eligible for payment. We're going to validate that that eligible transaction and seat growth happened at the time we review your proof of execution. All right, so now to walk us through our revamped CSP partner incentives, I'd like to invite Dallas up.
All right, thank you, Ryan. So in way of introduction, my name is Dallas Cullen. I'm the Director of Product Marketing and Go-to-Market for AI Business Solutions. And as Ryan mentioned, I'm going to talk to you about partner incentives, and I'm also going to talk through our new CSP partner promotions. Starting with incentives, this has actually been in place since July 1st of this fiscal, but we haven't had a lot of opportunities to talk about why we did this and what has actually changed in forums like this. So I'm going to spend a few moments going over that before we get into the specific numbers. So first, why? Why did we make an update from the prior year design? We are constantly looking at ways to improve the experience for both our partners and our customers within the CSP channel. And we saw an opportunity here to make things a little bit simpler, more consistent, and more aligned to the broader goals of the CSP channel. So with that in mind, knowing that we wanted to make a change, we wanted to follow certain tenets in making that update. And that's what you're seeing on the slide here. The first tenet was that we wanted to strengthen the CSP channel with increased investment. The CSP channel is an increasingly important channel of growth for Microsoft. And so in addition to the forecasted growth that we had, we wanted to ensure that there was additional incentives for partners who are driving the right types of behaviors. Related to that is a second tenet. We wanted to ensure that this helps drive additional profitability for partners who are driving those types of behaviors, while also incentivizing you to make the right decisions for your customers. And then lastly, we wanted to reward renewal growth as well as customer acquisition, effectively providing more flexibility in how we provide growth incentives. And I'll talk about that in more detail in a moment. But this is broadly what changed. And now I'm going to talk about the numerical elements of this, and we'll get into a bit more specifics. As I mentioned, this is already in effect as of July 1st. So this is currently active. I believe the first payouts will be coming out soon in the new calendar year. And this is highlighting the AI workforce view of incentives. As you can see here, there's actually three, kind of looks like two, but there's three elements to CSP incentives today. We have 7.5% growth. This is the new piece. And then below, we have 10.75% across both core and strategic accelerators. The core and strategic accelerators are largely unchanged. The biggest difference is that 7.5% growth. If you remember historically, we used to have a new customer add incentive. So it was very specific. When you add a new customer, the revenue that you grow in that first year would receive the incentive. What we tried to do here was open up the aperture and say that is still good. If you get a new customer and you drive revenue with that new customer, you would still be eligible for this. But in addition to that, if your existing customers are expanding or if you're driving upsell, you would also be eligible in those scenarios for this growth incentive, effectively providing more flexibility. This growth incentive applies to our hero products, and it differs by solution area, but with an AI workforce, that includes Business Premium, 𝗦𝗽𝗲, 𝗦𝗽𝗲, and Copilot. So at a tenant level, if you are growing all up aggregate revenue across those hero products, you would be eligible for this growth incentive. And I mentioned up front that we wanted to make things more consistent. That was one of the big reasons for making this update in the first place. And so this shows the updated incentive rate across solution areas. I'll let everyone take a moment to look at the numbers, take a screenshot if helpful. But what you'll notice here is that there are a lot of consistencies between incentive structure. There are some nuances in the core and strategic rates. There are also some nuances in what is included within growth. But the general philosophy is consistent across the board. And then we're trying to provide this consistent framework and make things simpler from a partner perspective. Now let's make this real with a couple actual examples of how these incentives would look. We're going to look at an expansion example first, and then we'll talk about an upsell opportunity second. So top left, this is an expansion. In this case, if you're moving a customer from 100 to 200 seats of Business Premium, the core and strategic accelerators would still apply to the full revenue on all 200 seats. And that growth incentive would apply to those additional 100 seats that you expanded. The revenue attributable from that expansion would qualify for that growth incentive. And across all incentives, you can see that this leads you to a 20% better position than you would have with the historical design. Now moving to the bottom example, this is an upsell opportunity, in this case 2,000 seats, upselling from 𝗦𝗽 to 𝗦𝗽. Again, core strategic accelerators, those would apply to overall revenue on 𝗦𝗽. And then that growth incentive in this case would apply to the differential in revenue between 𝗦𝗽 and 𝗦𝗽. So effectively, the increased revenue you drove as a result of that upsell would drive the growth incentive. And in this case, you're left with a 27% better economic position than compared to the prior design. And these are not cherry-picked examples. We found that across the board, most of our partners are better off in this new scenario. All up, without going into specifics, we are paying a higher rate of incentives to our partners as a result of this design. And that's exactly what we wanted. So we hope that this continues to drive value for you as partners and encourages the right type of behaviors, which effectively is growth. Now, shifting gears, let's take a quick look at the promotions that are running within the CSP channel. This is not a comprehensive list of everything, but it gives a good overview of the suites as well as some of the new promotions we're running on the Copilot business SKU that Marcelo talked about up front. On the left-hand side of your page, you have the Secure AI Productivity offerings, and then on the right-hand side, you have the Copilot business offerings from a promo perspective. I'll talk about both briefly and explain what's new. So starting with the left-hand side, Secure AI Productivity. We continue to have both 1- and 3-year offers on 𝗦𝗽 and 𝗦𝗽. The majority of those are new to offer. And the 𝗦𝗽 1-year offer is the first targeted offer within Secure AI Productivity. As a reminder, targeted offers means there's a set of criteria that a customer must reach in order to transact, whereas new to offer is open to all customers who have not used that product historically. The news on this side is not any of the offers being new. It is that all of these offers have been extended through the end of the fiscal year, so through the end of June 2026. Now, moving to the right-hand side, Copilot Business. Really exciting opportunity in the SMB space. Marcelo talked about the big picture, but we have 3 promos that I want to talk about today. First is on the standalone SKU. Originally $21, there's a 15% promotion down to $18, and that is 1 year. All of these are 1 year. And the thing with the standalone SKU is that it is open to all, and there is no seat minimum, from 1 to 300 seats. And we also have bundled promotions on Business Standard plus Copilot Business and Business Premium plus Copilot Business. Discounts vary from 25 to 35% off the list price. The big difference here is that there is a minimum of 10 seats on the bundled promos. And across all of these, they're capped at 300, aligning to our SMB seat caps. These Copilot promos will launch at the same time that the SKU is launched on December 1st, and they will run through the end of March 2026. So I'll pause again, let folks take a quick look at all the numbers if you want to take a screenshot, and then I'll do a little bit more of a deep dive on Copilot. So this is largely a repeat from what I just showed. It just gives you some of the actual dollar figures associated with these promotions. And it also has the holistic list of the bundles that are included within CSP. So there is, in addition to what we just discussed on the prior page, a Business Basic plus Copilot Business, or not a promotion, there's a SKU, but there's no promotion on that. And so it's actually cheaper from a customer perspective to transact on the Copilot Business with Business Standard as opposed to Business Basic if you are leveraging the promotion. So I'll let everyone take one more quick look here. It's a lot of numbers. But that is what we're running from an incentive and promotion perspective. All of the resources are made available. We'll have this presentation available to everyone in the room today. Everyone is online. So if you missed anything from myself or Ryan's spiel, don't worry. All of what we've said today and a lot more is included within these links. So now we're going to shift gears again. I think more of the exciting part of the presentation. You can stop listening to the Microsoft folks preach about our own products and offerings. We're actually going to hear from a partner. And not just any partner. We're going to hear from the Secure AI Productivity Partner of the Year, SoftwareOne. And so at this moment, I'd like to welcome Oliver Berchtold, who is the Chief Operating Officer for SoftwareOne, to come join me on stage. Let's bring this here.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks a lot. So Oliver, first off, congratulations on the Secure AI Productivity Partner of the Year award. That was not known at the time we were talking about this event, but a big accomplishment to you and the organization. And let's start today with just hearing your thoughts on some of the trends you're seeing in the market. We've talked a lot about AI, about secure productivity, but I'm curious to hear from your perspective. What are some of the trends in the secure AI productivity space that you're seeing with your customers, and how are you capitalizing on those trends?
Yeah, so, am I working?
I think so. You guys can hear?
Good. So thank you for having me, and yes, it goes back to the team and their efforts of winning the award. And as you can see, I'm very digital on my way here too with the paper. No, look, I mean, what we see in the trend in the market, of course, AI is exploding in regards of the demand through the pressure that most companies have on reducing the cost, and how do we bring in this productivity, right? And we saw it yesterday with the keynote, app builder and that agent, so to speak, madness that will explode was also an opportunity for the partners to actually manage. And it's very, very positive, because we're also going to see, I think, with the customers to build more and more agents, and that goes back to the trend that has been the last 12, 24 months, and this continues. What we see an opportunity as well, the whole data on the data platform. And with that, how do you actually protect that data internally first? So when you build these agents, who can access how and what information, and that governance is in very much high demand from our customers, what we see. And that's also where it really starts. Before you start even the AI, we always take the customers first, like, okay, how do you govern your data? How do you do that? How do you build a platform for this future agent space that they're after? And there's actually also another angle to the whole equation of AI, and I think it was Marcelo who mentioned this, is the application portfolio management and the rationalization of it. Because if you want to build not only a data foundation, you also need to have the infrastructure, and with the infrastructure it comes the front line with the end users, also the applications that you're running. And if you don't consolidate that and you build simplification, you won't have the funds, the money because of the pressure, but also not the time to maintain the innovation and the future. So a lot of customers come also and it's like, hey, how can we clean up our landscape with all the different applications, consolidate into one platform, so to speak, right? And of course, this goes back to 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗻 and the E3 to E5 that we're getting asked. And that's something that we have seen a big trend, and also customers asking us, how do you do that? And it goes a little bit to the whole software asset management and application portfolio management, and with that, the rationalization to be able to invest into the innovation of data and AI.
No, it makes sense. And I want to talk about something you touched upon, which is the governance piece. I hear a lot from customers that security and governance are two of the biggest reasons why they are resistant to adopting AI at scale. I'm curious if you see that as well, and if so, how you're mitigating that and how you're kind of leveraging Microsoft in order to get customers over the hump when it comes to AI adoption.
Yeah. So there's really two areas and two ways how we attack this. With growth comes a lot of risks, right? And depending also on the region, you have certain regulations a little bit more than in others, which we mainly see also in Europe, right? And it goes back to, again, that data foundation, that data governance, and that security that you have to bring in. But it's not just the data, it's really the infrastructure underneath that we see, and the customers are really challenged. Again, the connection with optimization, modernization of the infrastructure, which was also mentioned before in the presentation. So with those challenges and how we approach it to our customers, and one of the reasons also why we won the award is we take the customer step by step through it. And first we also use all the funding that is available to customers, right? To make sure through the MCI we have the right activities through the step-by-step plan, whatever it's envisioning, and then the design and the implementation and so forth, but also topics, then it goes into the fast track and whatnot, offering funding that they have available. So that's the first part, and it comes really back to have a proper plan to attack those challenges. And then the second point is really the technology stack, the 𝗬𝗲𝗍𝗻, which provides more and more tools to have consolidated and one platform, which makes everything much easier to manage and to actually focus on, okay, how can we broaden our scope, how can we drive the productivity, how can we secure it in one area. And with the announcement yesterday on the Agent 365, that's also a very big move for customers to then be able to manage the explosion of the agents, right? I heard a statement yesterday that some of the testing and of the Agent 365 in an environment basically showed one agent per person, and this is going to drive a lot of productivity and a lot of creativity of people to drive. Like, hey, how can I reduce the stuff that I don't like to do? So I create an agent. It's so easy with the app builder now and whatnot to say, okay, this is how I build, and then what do I access on the data? What can I? What should I? And that's just the internal exposure, not even speaking about the external point. And in Europe, we are often challenged with the regulation topic, right? DORA, NIS2, GDPR. And also not to forget workers' councils who basically protect the workforce, right? From what they can access, what they can see, and what they actually shouldn't see. So we really take the customer step by step through with the funding, but also the technology stack at the end of the day.
No, it makes sense. And it was an exciting development. I think the agent for every individual is it's exciting as long as you feel comfortable about those the security and governance risks. So I think that's a really helpful overview. I also hope that this ASPX tool that Ryan talked about earlier will help with some of that customer, specific strategies that you outlined. It sounds like you're doing manually today, probably for the most part. But really appreciate the overview there. Switching gears slightly, I want to talk about SoftwareOne and the company itself. I know you are somewhat unique in the structure in that you have, well, first, you're both an indirect reseller and you are a systems integrator. And then you also have a center of excellence model. You're kind of a centralized model, but you're pulling regional inputs from your teams. You're trying to create bespoke content for your customers globally. Can you just talk a little bit about how you're set up and how that differentiates you today?
Yes, so I will give you here a little bit of insights into the SoftwareOne house, so to speak. So as you said, we have the direct and the indirect channel where we help partners, especially in the indirect side, through CSP Tier 2. Where they don't have the expertise, because again, when it comes to the data and AI topic, there's a whole lot from again, data security and the development. And that's where we really excel and help them to just broaden, because they're very specific, so to speak. And then we have, of course, the direct channel where we have our offerings. And today we have 5,500 people in tech, basically, doing all this work in 70 plus countries. And one thing that, of course, for us was very challenging is like, how do you listen to customers in 70 countries? What do you hear from the sales force? What is the trend? Because again, region by region a little bit differently. So we have a clear concept globally in the center of excellence. Some also call it actually community of excellence, because we're pulling together different experts, whether it's tech, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, into this community or the center of excellence around a certain topic like data and AI. What do they see? How do we address the customer demand and requests, and that all in a scalable model? Because being in 70 countries, one of our benefits, of course, is we are local, but also provide regional or even global projects to customers. So, of course, with that comes quite a bit of complexity to really make sure that we address those demands. And with the fast-paced industry that we're locally, I say always in, it's a daily struggle, a daily opportunity as well to just do things a little bit different. And the fundings also help here actually quite a bit, especially the MCI program, right, from country to country, because of their maturity level that they have.
That's great, and it seems to be working very well for you. So that's good as well.
Yes.
And so maybe bringing it all together, we've talked about trends, we've talked about your organizational structure, what's driving success. Can you make it more explicit and just tell us a few customer success stories you have, ideally leveraging some of the things we've talked about today?
Yes, so when we look at it, I brought two customer example. One is actually in Europe, and another one is not in Europe, and specifically I come to that in a second. The one not in Europe, hospitality, have several different brands that they manage with Starbucks, KFC, and so forth. And one of the things that they engaged us with is how can we drive the business more with the insights, with the reporting and the information that we need to make fast decisions, whatever it's inventory management, whatever is also more opportunistic, is like how can we cater more to the customer. And that was also shown before a little bit with the AI to give opportunities to the partner ecosystem where to look for. And that's exactly what they wanted to do, because they have different brands and then also have that collaboration across those brands to leverage. And then it came to a big challenge, data. And then you have different brands, different data. How do you actually, from a data protection and data information, how do you share opportunity to grow the business, but also not to expose too much of the data. So we had to build a data warehouse, of course, with the right security posture, which we did with assessments, with then the planning and so forth, to really get to the stage of having them seeing the reports, and they had millions of actually transactions, billions actually of transactions that run very quickly, had to be analyzed, and then on AI on top to make that automatic, that recommendation and suggestion what you do now in your specific brand or in your specific business, and since it's different brands, it was all a little bit different, which made it quite complex. And all that, of course, very reliable and speed, and they wanted to have 99.5 or 8% SLA on it. So that's one of the examples, but it really started again with the data and the infrastructure foundation actually underneath. Another customer in Europe, insurance company, highly regulated. The biggest challenge there was while driving productivity, how do we not only secure it, but what are we allowed to do, right? Again, with the DORA on these two and so forth, and GDPR, it's like, okay, how do we make this actually interesting for our end user to also be creative, as I mentioned before, right? And that created a big question mark. It's like, okay, how do we manage this also downwards when we're done with the implementation? So one of the things then with the build of that data and also the framework for them to build out then those agents and having this creativity was then the adoption and change management, which I haven't mentioned yet, and that came really down to the most work. Actually, to come up and say, okay, how do the people can adapt? How do they know what they're allowed to do? How do we govern that? And also with that, then the change, because of course, at the beginning you always have that resistance, but with time they saw, again, I can actually build an agent, or I can do something or propose something that I just simply don't like to do, and it's task-based, it's repetitive, so let's get this out of the way. So that was also quite challenging because of the fact of, again, workers' council, of the regulations, and being also in the insurance business, it was quite tough. So step by step, again, going through and with the funding, with the use of the fundings, you get faster through, of course.
Yeah, no, very interesting, and I think that's often an overlooked piece of this, the change management piece, where it's easy enough to identify, here's where you are, here's where you should go, and go do it. But it's hard to actually get them there. And so you took the time to walk them through and make those changes in a secure and safe way, it sounds like. And I know we're coming up on time here. Maybe any quick parting advice, any parting thoughts for those in the room or listening in today?
No, I think just going back to the three main points, the infrastructure optimization, the data foundation layer, secure, absolutely key, and what the customers always have to look first. Then the optimization, again, of an application as well as on the infrastructure level. And the last thing is, again, while the tech stack is always the fancy part, don't forget the human part of the equation, because that is by far, out of our experience, the absolute hardest. The tech is always the fancy, shiny, or the new butterfly, which everyone is excited about, which creates that creativity. But you have to get the people on the journey.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Thanks again for joining us here today, and maybe everyone, a round of applause for Oliver.
Thank you.
Yeah. So here. Thanks a lot. I'll hand it back to Marcelo here to take us home.
Thank you so much, Dallas. Thank you so much, Oliver. Just love to see the wealth of knowledge and the impact that you're driving with customers. So thank you so very much. And with that, we're getting to our last part of the session, which is a quick summary and our calls to action. And a good way to summarize all the investments that we have available for you is through our win formula. The win formula is how we position our investments in levers across the MSAM stages to help you target, acquire, and retain customers over time while driving your business priorities. So for example, you can drive propensity through ASPX and Cloud Ascent, as these tools provide you with visibility of renewals coming up, customer acquisition, and upsell opportunities. Then you can drive customer outreach using campaigns in a box, which can be funded through co-op. Then next, you can drive further customer intent, landing the one-to-many emergent briefings or the one-to-one envisioning and POC. You can close deals leveraging the CSP promotions and enhance your profitability with the CSP incentives coming off of those deals. Then from a post-sales standpoint, you can land a one-to-one deployment accelerator for larger deals. And then from a customer management and performance standpoint, I'm going to call out again ASPX and the NPSA reporting in Partner Center. So as you can see, we have a strong framework and set of investments to help you run the Secure AI productivity business, especially in times of renewal. And about renewals, the reality is that H2, the period between January and June, is the most important time of the year because that's when the majority of the renewals happen. Actually, 64% of our CSP renewals happen at a point in time. And keep in mind that it's much cheaper to retain a customer than to acquire a new one, as it's 7 times more expensive to drive new customer acquisition, which speaks the importance of that period of time. And we know from experience that renewals can take time, 3 months, maybe even more, depending on the customer scenario, which speaks to the importance of planning that in advance. And to help you plan for that, I'm going to call out 2 quick priorities for you as renewals come. Number 1, try to upsell customers at renewals time when possible. Bring in the 𝗦𝗲𝗏, the 𝗦𝗲𝗏, the Business Premium, and make a push to Copilot as well, leveraging the tools, the propensity tools that allows you to see the customers with the highest propensity to be upsold, especially now in light of the bundles that we're launching and the promotions that have been extended. And then the second priority will be renewing all customers on time. On-time renewals are always important, but especially so in this time of the year because of the amount of the renewals that are coming up. And in addition to that, we have seen that on-time renewals drive a 20% higher revenue recapture compared to late renewals, which speaks to the importance of being proactive. But we're confident that you have the right set of investments in place to help you do just that. And with that, I'm going to close us with 3 key takeaways from today's session. Number 1, the Secure AI productivity value has never been greater, and the momentum is super strong. Number 2, the wave of renewals is approaching, so it's really important to plan and prioritize in advance so that you can retain, upsell your customers, and minimize your churn. And then last, leverage all the GTM investments that we have available for you, M365 Accelerate, promotions, incentives, to lend the best value for your customers and grow your CSP business. That's all that we have for you today. I hope you enjoy the session, and I wish you a great rest of the event. Thank you so very much, everybody.